We're going to talk about multiplying and dividing rational expressions. So before we were simplifying, now we're going to be multiplying and dividing them. So we're going to start with a warm-up. We'll call it warm-up number 1 because there's actually going to be 2 warm-ups. So the first one's pretty straightforward. How do we multiply fractions? And the way we multiply fractions is we just multiply straight across. So we go across. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 7 is 21. So 2/3 times 5/7 is 10 out of 21. Not very exciting. Well, always exciting. 10 over 21 times 14 over 15. Same thing over here. So 10 times 14 is 140. 21 times 15, I don't actually know. I could have probably figured it out. 315. But we're not done there. What we have to do at this point is we need to reduce this fraction. And these are obviously both divisible by 5. So what I would do is I would divide them both by 5. So divide by 5, divide by 5. And 140 divided by 5 is 140 divided by 5, I think it's 28. Yep. It's 28. And 315 divided by 5. 315 divided by 5 is 63. And we're actually still not done. What we're going to do is we're going to divide both by 7. Divide by 7, divide by 7. 28 divided by 7 is 4. 63 divided by 7 is 9. So this times this gives us 4 over 9 once we've fully reduced it. I'm going to show another way of doing this one actually. So let's say we get 10 over 21 times 14 over 15. I essentially could reduce before I multiply. So here I multiplied and then I reduced. I could reduce before I multiply. So I could divide both of these by 5. And I get 10 divided by 5 is 2. And that's 3. And then I could divide both of these 2 by 7 goes into both of them. So that's, nope, that gives us 2. I divide by 7, but I actually get 2. Divide by 7 and I get 3. Plus you use different colors other than red and orange. They look pretty similar. And now I'm going to multiply across. 2 times 2 is 4. And 3 times 3 is 9. And that was a lot easier. I didn't even have to use a calculator for that one. Now, there's nothing that says we can't do it with 2. We could also do it with 3 things. So let's say we had 6 over 77 times 8 over 9 times 33 over 20. Okay, so we're going to look for things that we could cancel. So these 2 could both be divided by 11. That will give us 3 and 7 left after we divide by 11. Then what we have is, these can both be divided by 2. Actually, they can both be divided by 4, so we'll do it by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 20 divided by 4 is 5. I use different colors this time. And these could both be divided by 3. One on the top, one on the bottom. That gives us 3. That gives us 2. And now we're ready to multiply. So we're going to get 2 times 2 times 3 is 4 times 3 is 12. And 7 times 3 times 5 is 20 times 5 is 105. But we'd actually still have to reduce that. These could each be divided by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 105 divided by 3 is 35. And that would be the answer. What we actually could have done, if you look at these, you could actually cancel kind of the little leftover numbers as well. So there's a 3 there and a 3 there. We can actually divide both of these by 3 to give 1 each. So they both have 1 each left. And in that case, we would get 2 times 2 times 1 is 4, and 7 times 1 times 5 is 35. And that's a faster way of getting to that answer. Okay. Still on the warm-up. If we have 2/3 divided by 5/7, how do we divide fractions? The way we divide fractions is we change it to a multiply. So we change it to a multiply, which I'm going to write as a dot. That's going to mean multiply. And then we take the reciprocal of the second fraction. Reciprocal is we flip it. So the bottom becomes the top and the top becomes the bottom. That's the reciprocal. So if we have a division, we're really just multiplying by the reciprocal. And 2 times 7 is 14 and 3 times 5 is 15. Let's say we have 10/21 divided by 14/15. Now, it might be tempting to cancel the 10 and the 15, because they could both be divided by 5. That's a 10, by the way. It's not a 6, that's a 10. So it might be tempting to cancel those, but you can't because it's a division. The canceling only works with multiplying. So the very first thing you have to do is you have to turn it into a multiply. Same thing, this 21 to 14 looks like they cancel, but no dice. So we end up with this. And the stuff cancels. Stuff still does cancel, just not quite as pretty. These could both be divided by 3, so that gives us 7 and 5. And these could each be divided by 2. So that gives us 7 and 5. And so when we look at that, overall that's going to be 5 times 5 is 25, and 7 times 7 is 49. So 10/21 divided by 14/15 is 25/49.